Hello aspirants and welcome again to Legacy IAS Academy. In this lecture, we will be discussing about the Epstein files that has been released. So first we'll understand as to what are these Epstein files and what do they reveal and what has been redacted from the files. Redacted means kept still as a secret. So basically in redaction, they will basically be blanking it out or blacking it out so that it is not revealed to the people. So this and much more is what we are going to see. We are also going to understand what are the big personalities of USA that are named under this Epstein files and why is there such a hue and cry about this Epstein file and what this Epstein is actually all about. So let's get started. So the news is about the release of the Epstein files. Now, who is Epstein? Basically, Jeffrey Epstein, he was basically a sex offender as well as an accused sex trafficker. Why offender here and only accused here? Because he was punished only for being a sex offender, whereas its case about the sex trafficking is concerned, he was accused, allegations was put forward, but before the judgment could be taken place, he died in 2019. So he was definitely convicted for sex offenses, hence he was definitely a sex offender, but at the same time an accused sex trafficker as well. Now all the details related to basically his case with respect to the investigation, the FBI reports, the discussions that had taken place, the investigations, the photographs, the documents, everything related to this sex offender is nothing but the Epstein file. Now, he has, as I mentioned, he has died in 2019. Now, what happened is, in around November 2025, the US Congress passed a law. That law was basically to make public the unclassified Epstein files. So subsequent to the passing of the law, what has happened now is the US Department of Justice DOJ has actually now ended up releasing these Epstein files. And a file related to the investigation on a sex offender is coming up with a lot of photographs, a lot of documents which are linked, related to. In photographs directly there is presence of big, famous, rich, politically affiliated personalities. So here comes a question as to why they were with Epstein and what things they are having in common with Epstein. Are they also, part of the crimes that Epstein was doing or not? This is what is now being discussed. So what has happened? What has been the nature of release? The Department of Justice of United States of America has released thousands of files, and these thousands of files has tens of thousands of pages in it. Now that content includes the FBI investigation, as I have mentioned, the photographs and evidentiary materials, means the materials which proved Epstein to be a sex offender, and court related as well as investigative records. All this has been released. However, the Department of Justice has clarified that this is not everything. This is just a part of it, and more such documents are going to be released in the future. So this is what the news is all about. Now let's understand what is inside this. Before we go ahead, an important thing about this release is that there has been extensive redaction. Redaction means you will make a file, let's say, available, but if there is a person, you may black out their face, you may black out the names, you may black out certain information that you don't want the people to know about. So this public release is not that public at all, because a lot of things are still a secret over here. So what has been done is file containing heavy and inconsistent redaction. Redaction means things have been blacked out, but that redaction is also inconsistent. Inconsistent means someone's face in some part has been blacked out, but the same face in some other photograph is still there. So why this inconsistency? Redaction is there, but inconsistency. Entire document, let's say for example, the 119 grand jury of New York. In USA, they still follow the jury system. There will be 12 people who will either declare you innocent or guilty. So the entire document of that is present. Now, redaction, as I mentioned, appears in an uneven manner. Sometimes it is redacted, sometimes the same person is not redacted at all. Now, the issue here is, even after the release, no major new revelations have been made public. That means what all people knew before the release is what people know now as well. Nothing new is coming out of it. Another issue here, not an issue, or let's say a revelation, is the prominent presence of Bill Clinton. As you can see over here, the prominent presence means in a lot of documents there is the presence of Bill Clinton. You can see him with Epstein over here. You can see him with different females, etc. in different situations. His photographs are very prominent in this Epstein file. If you look at the references to Donald Trump, on the other hand, is quite curtailed. So over 13,000 files that have been released, references to Donald Trump are somehow quite limited. Now, does that mean that there might be certain, dilution of these files? That is what people are putting allegations as. See, just because he is limited does not mean he was quite prevalently there, but the government has not released it. But that is also a possibility which people are saying that yes, Donald Trump should have been there a lot more time. He is also allegedly involved in these kind of things. But people are putting allegations that the Donald Trump administration has ensured that his name does not appear much. So that is the allegation. What is true, the time will tell. So his name comes in Epstein's contact list. If it's in contact list, not a problem. If someone has my contact in their list, doesn't mean anything to me. Then flight manifest. Flight manifest means who is going to take which flight at what time. That's the manifest. And depositions by third parties. So not much of an issue as such. Only these trivial places where his name has featured. Next is celebrity appearances without allegations. This is also there. Now that means that a lot of celebrities, for example, Mick Jagger or Michael Jackson, have also appeared in the documents. However, there are no allegations as such against their names, right? That means the report clearly bifurcates association as well as just an appearance without any allegation. So these celebrities as such, people or the department is not having much of allegations on them. This is simply showing a huge amount of elite connection or networking that Epstein had with respect to celebrities as well. So certain celebrities that have come up is, for example, Michael Jackson, Mick Jagger, Diana Ross, Walter Cronkite, so on and so forth. However, this does not imply any criminal involvement. And then the last thing that has been mentioned in the Epstein file release is that more files are yet to be released. So the Department of Justice has confirmed that more files, thousands of more documents will be released shortly, right? At the same time, the issue over here is, when the law was passed, it made it clear that the full release of unclassified materials should happen within 30 days. But that's not happening, and that may not happen also. It may be delayed. So if it gets delayed, it may tantamount to procedural non-compliance. You are giving time to redact as much as you want, to take away names as much as you want, to dilute as much as you want. If I have thousands of documents, if I release it right now, I'll have to release as it is. But if I'm taking time, there comes a question as to what am I doing with those files? Am I creating another copy and selectively releasing what I want to release and avoiding what I don't want to release? That is a possibility. So delay might lead to procedural non-compliance. Now, are there any legal provisioning for withholding the documents? Yes, absolutely there is. There are reasons. For example, if the files are classified, the DOJ, that is Department of Justice, need not release it. At the same time, if that release is going to jeopardize an already or an ongoing federal investigation, then also the Department of Justice need not release it. However, people are anticipating that the Department of Justice basically maintains a balance between the public right and the right to information. The public right to information as well as the protection of the national security and the due process. So sometimes the investigations can be jeopardized, but at the same time the public's right to information should also be there. So there needs to be a proper balance between the two, and so much of redaction should be avoided as the entire file needs to be made public. At the same time, it should be made public within the defined 30 days as per the act that was passed. So this is not the end of Epstein file. Moving forward, we might see some more names or the same names in more compromised situations or in more compromised manner. So stay tuned with Legacy IAS Academy for more such informative bits. Thank you.